For our math lesson today, we are working on Topic 1, Lesson 9. This is our last lesson in the unit of Topic 1, and then we will be moving on. In Topic 1, Lesson 9, our learning target is I can construct math arguments using addition and subtraction. So we are on page 37 of our Volume 1 Envisions workbook. We are on Volume 1, page 37, and we are about to start our Solve and Share together. So on our Solve and Share, it says, do you add or subtract to solve the problem? Tell why. Show how to solve using pictures, numbers, and words. So boys and girls, you can actually solve this problem by using addition or subtraction. You could use either one. So Mrs. Collier is going to use her counters for this, but you can just use your pencil or just watch for this section. That's okay too. So it tells me that I have 7 rabbits. I have 3 turtles. How many more rabbits than turtles do I have? So I'm going to use my counters to count 7 to represent 7 rabbits. So do it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these 7 red dots are going to represent my rabbits. So I'm just going to write an R next to my red so I don't forget. So rabbits. Now let's count how many turtles we have. It says we have 3 turtles. Count with me. If I have 1, 2, 3 turtles. So it wants to know how many more rabbits than turtles. Well, let's see. So they both have 1, 2, 3. Oh, but after that, I ran out of turtles, but I still have these rabbits left. So how many counters are left? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 more rabbits than turtles. So if we're using subtraction, I had 7 rabbits. 3 were turtles. 7 minus 3 gave me 4. So this is just our subtraction equation, just written out from how we did it up here. So up here we had 7 red counters to represent the rabbits. We had 3 yellow counters to represent the turtles, and when we compared them, we ran out of turtles here, so we still had these 4 left. So 7 minus 3 gave us 4. So you could solve it by doing subtraction that way, or we could use addition and do it a different way. So let's do it with addition. Let's see. For my addition, if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rabbits, and I have down here 1, 2, 3 turtles. When I compare those, so just like we did in our last one, if I compare, they both have 1, they both have 2, they both have 3, and no more turtles, but I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 extras over here. So if I'm trying to find out how many more rabbits than turtles there are, well, if I know I have 3 turtles plus my blank missing add-in, but I know there are 7 rabbits, well, if 3 of those 7 are turtles, then I need to figure out 3 plus what gave me 7. And we just did it up here. We saw that there were 4 more rabbits, so we would say 4. 3 plus 4 equals 7. So that is how we could solve it, by using addition. Now let's turn our workbook page to page 38 in our workbook, and let's watch our animated video that shows us how to do the top of page 38.
This box has 9 crayons in all. 6 crayons are blue. The rest are red. How many are red? Solve and explain. You can count objects to solve the problem. Use 6 blue counters to show the 6 blue crayons. Put cubes on a mat. Count on from 6 blue cubes with 3 red cubes to make 9 cubes in all. 6 plus 3 equals 9. How many crayons are red? Select your answer.
So how many crayons are red? So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue crayons, how many are red? 1, 2, 3. So we are going to select 3.
There are 3 red crayons. You can also draw a picture to solve the problem. Draw 9 squares. Color 6 of them blue. Color the remaining 3 red. 9 minus 6 equals 3. There are 3 red crayons.
Now let's complete the Convince Me section on page 38 of our workbook page.
Look at the 2 ways to find the number of red crayons. How are the ways alike? How are the ways different?
So these are the 2 ways to find the number of red crayons. So here we used blocks and separated them into a small graph. And on this side we drew boxes and counted differently. If you look closer, we can see that on this side we used addition, so 6 plus 3 equals 9. And on this side we use subtraction, so 9 minus 6 equals 3. So what ways are these alike? What ways are these ways of solving alike? Well, both of these problems use the same numbers, so the numbers are alike. And both of them use pictures as well. How are they different? Let's look at the equations that each of the sides used. How are they different? One side uses addition and the other side uses subtraction. And we don't have to write anything for our Convince Me section. We can just talk about it because that is a lot for us to write on the screen. Let's complete the guided practice on the same page, page 38. It says use pictures, numbers, or words to explain. Number 1 tells us that Manny draws 6 tiles. So he draws 6 tiles. 4 of these tiles are red. The others are green. How many green tiles does Manny draw? So how many green tiles would Manny draw? Well, let's think. If I have 6 tiles total, I am trying to find out how many of them are green. So how many of the 6 tiles are green? If it tells me that 4 of these tiles are red, then I know I have to take away and subtract the number 4 because these 4 tiles are red, so they cannot be a part of this total 6. So 6 minus 4. 6 minus 4. Does anybody know what 6 minus 4 is? We can hold up 6 fingers and put 4 fingers down. Some of you might know it in your head. 6 minus 4. Miss Collier can also show you. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I need to take 2 of these away. So I'm going to erase. Oh, I'm sorry, I need to take 4 of them away because I'm subtracting 4. So I'm going to erase 1, 2, 3, 4. I am left with 2. So 6 minus 4 is 2. So if I had a total of 6, 4 of them are red, the others are green. So I have 2 green tiles. So our question was, how many green tiles does Manny draw? He draws 2 green tiles. If you don't have a green colored pencil or green marker, that's okay. You can just color in 2 boxes to show that you knew to color in 2 tiles for green. So we're just going to color in these 2 tiles. Again, if you don't have a color, you can just use your pencil. Alrighty. Let's move on to our independent practice. Independent practice that begins on page 39 begins with question number 2. It says Jan has 8 pennies. So Jan has 8 pennies. She spends 5 of these pennies. So how many pennies does Jan have left? How many does she have left? So since this is independent practice, Mrs. Collier is not going to solve the whole problem with you, but I will help you set it up. So if I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pennies, and I spent 5 of them, so those are gone. So am I going to subtract or add? I am going to subtract. So if I had 8 total, but I spent 5 of them, so I spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many are left? So now I need to set up my equation. So I'm going to let you fill in the numbers. Equals. So we already filled out up here in our diagram. We started with 8. We took away 5 and are now left with this number. I want you to tell me what this is. So down at the bottom, you are going to fill in and write your own subtraction problem. So how many pennies total did we start with? Put that number here. How many pennies did we take away? Put that number here. And how many are we left with? And put that number right here. Number 3 says Lydia has 7 pencils. John has 2 pencils. Who has fewer or less pencils? And how many fewer do they have? And if you need to pause the video to finish working on number 2, please go ahead and do so because Mrs. Collier just works through and you can just pause it as you go. Okay, so if Lydia has 7 pencils, so I'm going to draw 7 pencils with my pen that I have here. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are Lydia's pencils. So I'm going to write an L next to it because these are Lydia's pencils with some parentheses around it. If John has 2 pencils, so he has 1, 2. I'm going to write a J next to these pencils. So if Lydia has 7 pencils, so all I did was make 7 pencils. John has 2 pencils, so I wrote 2 pencils here. Okay. So let's start with our first question. It says, who has fewer pencils? Does Lydia have fewer pencils or does John have fewer pencils? So which number is smaller, 7 or 2? 2 is smaller than 7. So we know that John has fewer pencils, but how many fewer? So what I like to do, I'm going to use a different colored pen. I like to compare and see how many they each have. So they each have 1, because I can see how they line up. They each have 2. But after that, John is out of pencils. But Lydia still has all of these pencils over here. So how many does Lydia have here? She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we already said who has fewer pencils? John. How many fewer pencils does John have? 5. 5. So you are going to write the subtraction problem for number 3. So one number goes here minus another number equals how many fewer John had. So if I had 7 pencils total, Lydia had 7 pencils total. We subtract how many pencils John has and how many fewer. So we already found out how many fewer he has. So you just need to write the number John had of pencils and how many less he had. 4 says Max has 3 apples. Max has 3 apples. He buys 2 more apples. He gives away 4 apples. So how many apples does Max have left? So this question has addition and subtraction in it. So we need to figure out the first part before we do anything. So it tells me that Max has 3 apples to start with. He adds 2 more apples. So I'm adding 2 more apples. So 3 plus 2 gives me what number? 5. It then tells me that, so Max has 5 apples. He gives away 4 of those apples. So he gives away 4 of those apples. So our total number of apples right now is 5. If Max gives away 4 of those 5 apples, how many does Max have left? So one more time. If I have 5 apples now, because I had 3 and I bought 2 more, so now I have 5. If I give away 4 of those apples, How many do I have left? So you are going to write the subtraction problem for your total number subtracted by how many you give away and how many do you have left. And our last page of our lesson is page 40. You should see a lemonade stand. Ooh, lemonade. So it says lemonade stand. Some friends sell lemonade. Solve each problem. Use pictures, numbers, or words to explain. So number 5 down here says Alex sells 3 cups. Mark sells 5 cups. How many cups do they sell in all? So Alex is saying that this is how you solve the problem. So Alex said 3 plus 5 cups equals 8 cups. So for number 5, it wants you to tell, is his work correct? So is Alex's work correct? Is 3 cups plus 5 cups equal 8 cups? So write yes or no if this is correct. And how do you know? So I need you to write yes or no. And how do you know? Number 6, our last one, says Mia sells 2 cups. Gina sells 6 cups. How many more cups does Gina sell than Mia? So I'm just going to make some marks with my pencil and you can do the same. So if Mia sells 2 cups, so these 2 X's will represent the 2 cups that Mia sold. And Gina sells 6 cups. So I'm going to write 6 marks below that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if Mia has 2 cups, Gina has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cups. How many more cups does Gina have than Mia? So how many more cups does Gina have than Mia? Okay, so if we look at this just like we've done before, we can compare how many they have. So they both have 1 cup. They both have 2 cups. But then Mia runs out of cups. But Gina still has all of these cups right here. So how many cups in my rectangle are left? So how many cups are left? Once you figure out that number, we are going to write the subtraction problem at the bottom. At the bottom. Okay, so all you're going to do, just like we've done in our last problems, you are going to write your subtraction problem for how we figured this out. So if Gina sold 6 cups, Mia sold 2 cups, and we figured out how many more cups Gina sold than Mia. That's what is in this box here, these number of X's. So that number is going to be our answer down here as well. So for our blanks, we need to write the total number of cups that Gina sold minus how many cups Mia sold and how many more cups Gina sold than Mia. So just like how we wrote it up here for our visual, representation. Now we need to write it. And after you finish that, you are all done with your math assignment for the day.